Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the garage. Now, today's going to be short, but we're going to be messing with something called two-step. Now, this is launch control, but two-step has to do with a turbo or something that initiates boost like a turbo. Supercharged wouldn't really count. But what we're doing here is we're going to be adding fuel and cutting ignition and setting an RPM max range. What this does is you get the poppity pop bang bang that all the cool kids want. Now, I have been working on the red bike and getting some things situated. I had to change a few things in the ECU tune, and I will get to that on the next one. Some cool stuff there, and actually the red bike makes, well, we'll just talk about that later. So, we're gonna go ahead and focus on the white bike real quick. I'll show you some cool doodad stuff on the computer here, and what I had to do to actually get this to function. Okay, first, what I wanted to do was show you, I added a few new features, well not features, I guess items to the tune here. So, what I had to do was I added some actual vacuum areas, because we actually stopped at positive pressure, which is 0, 0. 0, 0 is positive pressure, so technically the bike's over here running in vacuum while we're riding. But I didn't have anything for it. So we added and populated some tables there. We also did one for ignition tables, so we can have ignition way down here where it would actually be functioning. So the next thing that we went to was motorsports and launch control. Here's the big finale features where, you know, the pops and the bangs come from. Now I set up everything here that we needed as far as we have disabled below 75% throttle position, because if I'm below that, I'm cruising, I'm not racing obviously, and we have it disabled above 5 miles per hour. So if I'm at the track and I'm actually on launch control or two-step, and once I release the clutch and I start moving, I want the fuel to be correct and I want all ignition. So at this point now we are riding and running true and not actually at the launch point in the staging lanes. Well, staging lanes, in the line. In the lane. So, we also have fixed RPM. Well, we're going to start off at 8,000 RPM. We ignition retarded RPM, and this is pretty much in sections. So if launch starts at 4,000 and ignition retard RPM is 400, the ignition will be maximum retarded at 44. So at 8,600 RPM, it'll be maximum retarded. Yes, like me, maximum retarded. So, ignition drop, we don't want to cut fuel. We want the fuel to be active, that way it keeps the cylinders cool and it doesn't lean out. And that's the case where we come in right here, extra fuel, we're going to be adding 15%. Max drop, and this is the ignition right here, will be 80%. So technically it will be 80% max, and then we're going to have ignition versus boost. So at 2, boy, this should be negative. Come on, guy. Fix your stuff. This should be negative. There we go. This is going to be positive. And then we'll go 2, 4, 6, 8. And we'll leave that at 10, 12, and 14. So, right here in vacuum, which is -2, that will be pretty much saying, hey, we're in vacuum. -10. Once we're at 0 psi, which is positive pressure already, we're at -15, and so forth. The reason why we want, and we'll start this actually at, start that at 20, -20. We'll leave that at -20 as well, and we're going to adjust this to make sure we get our pops and bangs. But at 2 psi, -20. At why not just 25? There we go. And then we'll cut this down at 6 psi because we don't want to go any further. But let's go ahead and get this thing started and warmed up, and we'll figure out if it's going to work or not. So I'm editing this video and I forgot. Happy New Year, and hope you guys had a very good Christmas. But this next season, this next year, 23, will be a lot more fantastic for bike content and racetrack content and speed content. So I hope you guys enjoy, and back on to the program. So, disclaimer, the reason why we haven't had more videos of the red bike is because it's friggin' cold outside and snow on the ground. And it's really hard to tune stuff when you're riding it, to tune it when it hurts. And also, the reason why you don't want to tune in this weather is because these temperatures, right, the density of the air molecules and the coolness of the intake charge temp will be drastically different from the person who actually rides the bike. right? So I'm not tuning the white bike in this weather either. The reason why is because come summer, come springtime, when there's racing happening, I'm not going to have these same conditions. So I'm in the phase of building, learning, adjustments. There you go. Let me show you the snow and the cold weather. Also, we had negative 40 degrees yesterday with wind chills. Yes, national weather text got sent out. So here's the snow. Now that we're going to have the bike warmed up before we start this process, the other thing I might suggest is earplugs, because I do expect it to be loud. Okay, that will conclude our entertainment for the day. I'm gonna go ahead and shut the garage door because it's friggin' cold. Ugh. Anyways, so where I'm at right now with that is it's functional. It works. I'm looking at the map here, and we did build boost to a certain extent because I didn't. What I did was I was getting RPMs really, really high, pretty much red line. You don't want that. So what I had to do is cut some of the throttle position needed. I cut it from 80% to like 30%. That way it'd actually start doing its cut then, and I added fuel early, so that way we get the pop and bangs. I was building boost, but not as much as I wanted. That's because it needs to be in load, but that's more for at the line. Before I go, I'll let you guys know on one of the future episodes, really, really close to coming because I need to get it done. Now, I've never, showed you guys early, I've never synced the throttle bodies for this bike, and I've never synced the throttle bodies for that bike. So right now, they could be off. Not off enough where the bike won't run, because the bikes do run. Obviously, they work really well. But before I get the red bike out to whoever, I want the thing to be tip-top shape. So I bought the Heeltech ECU, I bought the Heeltech eSync, but that way we can calibrate the throttle bodies and then be perfect in order. Now, I will say Andy Man Cam, who obviously owns the FT1, if you're in the FT1 community, or pretty much Yamaha people in general, they know who he is. He's an old chap from across the ocean. That was bad. He's a guy across the pond, and he's in the UK, and he does fantastic work on how-tos, and he has a really good little vlog going. I like it. I watch it. But, so I went ahead and got me one. I will be doing a sync video, not really a how-to, because he covers that very well, but I'll be doing a sync video on the two bikes and getting them ordered, because I do know that they can't be correct right now. Anyways, but as far as that goes, I'm going to review the log, and I will catch you guys on the next one. See you later. Peace.